I'll go ahead and do the introduction. My name is Melinda Brown. I'm the branch manager here. If you have any questions or anything while you're here in the building, let me know. And this is Lori Cook. This is stressful anxiety.
Yes. Yes.
73 years ago, she graduated from Churchland High School. He went on to work at Wavy Radio and TV, where he met his wife, 52 years, Audrey Cherry.
That's right.
And he met me too.
That's right, I did. At Wavy, no less.
Just reading parts of the bio here. Amari has lived his life with near debilitating anxiety, working 16 to 18 hours a day, 7 days a week, buying and selling businesses in healthcare and general rental, banking, community nonprofits, micro-lending, and the arts. After the death of their youngest son, Greg, he and Audrey developed a youth mindfulness meditation nonprofit to work with teens from 14 to 19 years old called Inward Bound Mindfulness Education, IBME. IBME started right here in Portsmouth and is now an international nonprofit. They also train adults, parents, and doctors in the art of mindfulness training. Maury has meditated for over 40 years and has had instruction from Zen, Tibetan Buddhist, Hindu, and Christian teachers. He is currently working with a small group of committed practitioners and volunteers and doctors to develop Sattvic Space, a healing center that uses the ancient forms of yoga, mindfulness meditation, and Ayurvedic healing to treat stress, anxiety, depression, PTSD, ADD, and ADHD. And I will turn it over to Maury.
Thank you. Yeah, man. Somebody said, when I was walking in, said, well, what is this going to be on today? I said, how you can take stress out of your life, or how you can use stress as your teacher. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to play around with that a little bit. So I'm going to ask the question, anything in here that anybody would like to get out of today? Down. Other than, that's down. Anybody want to get anything out of today?
Just what you said.
Just what I said, get stress out of your life.
Yeah. And how to do that.
How to get stress out of your life. Oh, it's pretty easy. The process is pretty easy. Actually doing it, come on up here, is maybe not quite as easy because it takes commitment. Anything else that anybody would like to get out of today? We work with a lot of different things.
Can we learn how to focus better and not wander around mentally?
I'm sorry Audrey isn't here. If I'd had a nickname, it would have been Airhead. And it was before ADD and ADHD were being diagnosed in the school systems. And if they had SOLs, I'd still be in school. It was all I could do to get out of high school. And Audrey would tell you, this boy has not been easy to live with. He's lived in the clouds most of his life. So focus, I know something about focus. Can I do it? We'll have to see. I use my own anxiety. I've lived in near debilitating anxiety all my life. Ask Audrey that. She would tell me, you can't hear me. I said, what do you mean I can't hear you? You can't hear me. What do you mean? Of course I can hear you. She said, when you're home, you're not home. Well, where am I? Damn if I know. But somehow she stuck with me all these years. I don't know how she did that. Because I wasn't home, I couldn't hear her. It's just been in the past 15 or 20 years that I could hear her. And how much damage I did to our family. My father was an alcoholic and died at 50. My brother was an alcoholic, died at 49. My mother died at 55. So I'm grateful. And Audrey and I ask ourselves every day, every single day, what are we meant to do with this last bit of time that we have? What are we meant to do with this last bit of time? She's 77. Her mother died at 77. So we know that time is, we don't have a lot of it. And if I say that to most people, they say, oh, you're in good shape. Look at what you do. You do all this yoga and breathing. You're going to live a long time. Yeah, right. But let's say that I do. Let's say I have 20 more years. Put me at 93. Boop. It's that quick. If I haven't learned anything else, it's about impermanence. And that's what this practice teaches us, is about impermanence and how precious this life really is. And to pay attention on purpose. That's what we're going to do. We're going to pay attention on purpose for the next hour. Pay attention on purpose. And I'm going to show you a clip from IBME, Inward Bound Mindfulness Education, in just a minute. And it's a group that started right here in Portsmouth, working with kids 14 to 19 years old. Audrey, Maury, Greg, and I went in 1975, I believe, to learn meditation. It was a little teeny thing in the paper. I looked at it, and I went to them. I said, y'all want to go learn to meditate? They said, what's that? I said, I don't know. About being calm. Oh, they all knew I needed that. So I think that's why they went, is to maybe to get me calm. And it took for us. It took. We did transcendental meditation back then, and then I got this brilliant idea. I want to show teenagers how to do this. Well, I was nearly run out of the community. I've nearly been run out several times, but that was back in 75. I was almost run out because we're in the Bible Belt. And there are many Christians that don't believe in meditation, even though it's all through the Bible. Meditate on the scriptures. And that's one thing I ask when I work with churches. I'll ask the congregation, is there anybody in here that has struggles with meditating on the scriptures, of focusing on the scriptures? And nearly every hand will go up that they have a difficult time with it. And we do. So that's what we're going to do today. We're not going to meditate on the scriptures, but stay there, stay right there. But we are going to learn how to. Single-pointed focus. So we're going to start doing single-pointed focus. And then we're going to look at the things that come into our life that we think are bad, a duality, the dualness of good and bad. We're going to look at that, and we're going to look at that with this poem in just a minute. And it'll give you a whole different way to look at your life. So what we do with youngsters is we say Fafbach, Fafbach, feet on floor, butt on chair, Fafbach, hock. Feet on floor, butt on chair, hands on knees. So give it a whirl right now. And we're going to follow the breath just for a minute. And then we're going to read this. And then we're going to do it again. And you can read it with me or out loud or to yourself, either way. Fafbach, hock. Feet on floor, butt on chair, hands on knees. I do it a little different because of my back, but this is the way I sit most of the time. Feet on floor, butt on chair, hands on knees. And let's follow our breath just for a minute. Now, if you only get out of this next 50 minutes or so, two things, maybe three. Stress, anxiety. When you have stress and anxiety, if you just start to become aware of that, feel it in your body. Start to feel it in your body. If you have stress and anxiety, you're going to restrict your breath a whole lot during the day. That becomes your teacher. That becomes your angel. Because it's going to bring you back to the breath. When you finish here today, you're at least going to have some tools that can change your life. It can take stress out of your life. So, Paying attention on purpose when we stress, when we restrict our breath. Then breathing into that. We'll do one simple little exercise. It comes from Thich Nhat Hanh, a Buddhist monk. And he talks about when you ring the bell, a Buddhist monk, you're inviting Christ into your life. How many Christians are in here? Wow! How many Buddhists? Whoa, all right. Hindu, Sufi, Muslim, Judaism. Okay, so in Christianity, Christ said, those who come after me will be able to do more than I. We don't hear much about that.
No.
But that's what he said. That's us. That's our children. That's our grandchildren, if they're taught. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to pay attention to the breath on purpose. Thinking to ourselves, just the first round, feet on floor, butt on chair, Pfaff Bach. I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to think to yourself, I'm breathing in. I'm breathing out a little longer. I'm breathing in. I'm breathing out a little longer. Do a few more breaths on your own, paying attention on purpose. When you can no longer hear the sound of this little singing bowl, just open your eyes. Any problems with that with anybody? And I would like for you, if you have questions, anytime during this next 50 minutes, 45 minutes, I want you to ask them anytime. We're going to read this together. You can read it out loud or to yourself. It kind of sets the stage for your life and all of the things that happen. The Buddha said that life is suffering, or what he called dukkha, an uneasiness with life. Stress, anxiety, depression, the blues, pain in the knee, pain in the foot, pain in the back. Balance. So it's about life is suffering, or an uneasiness with suffering. So that's what we're working with. But we're going to look at suffering in a different way after we read this. This is a poem by Rumi called A Guest House. So either out loud or to yourself, the guest house. This being human is a guest house. Every morning a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness, some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all. Enjoy, even if they are a crowd of sorrows, who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture. Still, treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. the dark thought, the shame, the malice. Meet them at the door, laughing, and invite them in. Be grateful for whatever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. A guide from beyond. Welcome each one. Okay, now that's what we're going to do. We're going to welcome each one. Now in the West, if I ask the question, what is meditation? Most will say clearing our mind of thoughts, emptying the mind. There's some truth to that. But soon as you try to do it, you are lost. You will not empty the mind of thoughts. You have 30 to 70,000 thoughts a day. 30 to 70,000. Ask Audrey, and she'll tell you I have a whole lot more than that. I never stop. I never stop. My mind is racing. I've learned how to use it. My intellect is very weak. My intuition is very strong. Meditation gives me a good intuition. It gives me a different way to look at this world. Krishnamurti said of this world where we live, isn't it funny how we base our health on a profoundly sick society? And we look around and we see all of the pain and suffering that's going around us. And we can't stop that. But we can stop how it affects us so that we can start giving love out rather than just receiving chaos. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to learn to create a container. We're going to do a little bit of breath. We're going to sit again using the breath in a little different way. A little different way. We're going to hold our breath for the count of 6. And if it's difficult, make it 5 or 4. But hold your breath just a little bit. You're going to start to feel something happen when you hold your breath. There's a chemical, some kind of a chemical balancing with CO2 and carbon dioxide. CO2, carbon dioxide. There's a balancing that happens. We have too much CO2 in our lungs, so we're going to empty some of that out. And we're going to do it something like this. But real easy. You're going to breathe in through the nostrils and breathe out through the nostrils. I don't want you to do it hard because I don't want you to pull a muscle in your neck, and you can do it. But what you're going to do is just going to balance a little CO2 before we sit again. And just rest. I want you to close your eyes again. Faf bak, feet on floor, butt on chair. Faf bak hak, feet on floor, butt on chair, hands on knees. Spine reasonably straight. Eyes closed. If you want to open your eyes, just open them just a slit and look down, not at anybody. Just look down in front of you if you need to open them. And I want you to breathe in to the count of 4. I want you to hold for the count of 6 and exhale for the count of 8. I'm going to walk you through the first couple and then you take it on your own. Breathe in to the count of 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for the count of 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for the count of 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for the count of 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for the count of 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for the count of 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And a couple more on your own, at your own pace. No gasping. Make it comfortable, but put a hold in. If you would like, just slip into counting into 3 as you breathe in, out to 6. Into 3. Out to 6. A few more on your own, paying attention on purpose to your body, to your breath. For the last minute or so, bring your attention to the tip of the nose. Feel the air come in cool and go out a little bit warm. Just for a minute. Right where the nose and the upper lip meet. When you can no longer hear the sound of this singing bowl, just open your eyes. Any thoughts? Any feelings that you had when you were doing that?
I'm much calmer than when I came in.
Yeah, and it gets better. Gets better. Anybody else? Anything?
Ready for nap. Ready for nap.
Say it again.
Ready for nap.
Ready for a nap. Anybody have trouble in here sleeping? Oh, Aaron, back on the camera. Yes, sleeping. Okay. You feel like you want to go to sleep. It relaxes us. Try to go back to sleep. Sit up in bed. Do that breath. Follow your breath. Do the breath. The counting is really just for people like me. Julia Dorsey and I do a little thing on centering prayer at Trinity every Tuesday. We've been doing it for 3 years now. Centering prayer. It's a Christian form of meditation. They don't use the count. And I joke on them. I said, that's why you lose people like me. Because I'm an airhead. I can't just sit and boom. I can't do it. I have to calm my mind. That's what we just did. I'm taming my mind. That's what we just did. Wake up in the middle of the night. I can't go back to sleep. Julia Dorsey, our Episcopal priest, said to me 25 years ago, oh, you wake up at 2 in the morning? That's when the angels are out. I said, no joke. So when I wake up, I promise you, when I wake up at 2 in the morning, and I wake up at 2 in the morning a lot, I don't take a lot of sleep. We'll talk about that. So I wake up at 2 in the morning. I usually go pee. Then I come back and sit in the bed, and I sit. And Audrey says I sit there with my hoodie on, which she gave me, by the way, because I get cold easy. She said, you look like the Grim Reaper sitting up there. But I don't try to go back to sleep. I sit there and I follow my breath. I follow my breath. And before you know it, I go back to sleep. Or I have another little trick that I do. If I wake up in the middle of the night, I roll over on my left side. The blood enters the heart from the right side, so it's calming all right from the start. I put my arm out. I have my knees stacked on top of one on top of the other. I lie on my left side, and I start doing mantras. So, hum. It's the Moses code. So, hum. I breathe in, so. I exhale, hum. My eyes are closed. I may do it for 10 minutes and I go back to sleep. I may do it for 3 hours, 2.5 hours. I usually get up at 4:30. So I may do it till 4 or 4:30. And then I just say, what happened? Now, do we really need as much sleep as we think? We've been told, falsely, that we need 8 to 10 hours of sleep every night. Do we really? Einstein got an hour and a half. Something like that. We don't need that much sleep. Because most of our sleep is not really good. We need good sleep. So this starts to clear us out. It makes a container. We're making a container for all of the stuff, all of the crap that comes to us throughout the day to flow through. Now, normally I would do more with, and so there's several ways that you can do that. You can just do it with the stomach. We may talk about that in a few minutes. So what we're doing is we're clearing space out. We're calming the body. We're re-oxygenating our whole system. I'll read something to you. I'm going to ask you, would you mind playing that video now? This is a video about kids, and it's about kids in the wilderness. We do wilderness retreats along with just meditation retreats. But I think it'll be interesting to see that this is started right here in Portsmouth as a local organization. moved on to be a national
This
organization and now
program is
international.
really for anyone who is interested and wants to learn more about mindfulness and wants to deepen their connection with the natural world and to other people.
I made a lot of really new good friends.
Being with the same group for an entire week just creates these incredible connections that surprise me.
The goal of Inward Bound is to help teens to connect more deeply with themselves and then with each other and with the natural world.
Mindfulness means taking a breath before I make a decision in my life.
Mindfulness gives us all a chance to take a step back and look at our life through a calmer, more focused lens.
It's a great way to reduce stress in my life.
I did a lot of guided meditations and walking meditation and swimming meditation. One word, that's hard.
Awesome. Contentment.
Outstanding.
Eye-opening.
Meaningful. We got to watch the sunrise and the sunset and the stars. You come out of it feeling like you're on top of the world.
You're still getting the experience from traveling and living in the wilderness, but you're also getting the experience and the benefits of looking at who you are.
I hope that teens will be able to more deeply understand and accept themselves and understand each other and connect more deeply with their peers.
I experienced so much love and space for me to share anything that I needed to share.
My hope is that this program will help show the students their potential as human beings and better know themselves.
It is challenging, but it's beautiful at the same time.
We laugh and we play and we swim. It couldn't be a better way to spend your time.
Thank you. And if I could I get my phone just so I don't run over here? I'm due to be done at 1, right? Now that little thing is what you're doing right here, right now. That started here in Portsmouth. I moved it out of Portsmouth. I moved it out to Floyd, Virginia. And then it moved to Massachusetts, moved to Washington, D.C., and then to Massachusetts. Kids are doing exactly what you're going to be doing right here, what you just did. We're going to do more of it. It changes their lives. Now, what we're doing up on Airline Boulevard, a little place, Satvik Space, that Melinda mentioned earlier, Satvik Space. Audrey and I think that the teen retreats was probably the best thing we've ever done. But I believe Satvik Space is going to be even better. When the kids come home from 6-day retreats like this, and they are not all wilderness retreats, some of them are done in more of a rural setting, but these are done outdoors. But when they come home transforming, but they're coming home to the same thing they left. So we're trying to do it now with the families. What we hope is that this model that we're doing on Airline Boulevard will be duplicated across the country in the smaller scale. This is much too large. So that we can work with families, children, teens, and adults, parents, grandparents, so that the parents can receive these children and work with their own anxiety and become teachers or students with their children. This is the practice is profound. It's, some say 2,500 years old. The part that we work with up on Airline Boulevard is over 5,000 years old. We do Ayurvedic healing. The West has a very difficult time treating kids with ADD, ADHD, with the extreme anxiety that they have or that we have. Because the medical profession tries to treat anxiety. You can't treat anxiety other than to medicate it. It's the only way to do it. Ayurvedic healing treats it different. The home of anxiety is in the colon. So you know when somebody's struggling with anxiety, they have a bowel issue. And that's what we work with. And kidney issue. Mostly in the bowels. Secondary is in the kidneys. So we work with that. We do little things, and there's a little sheet up here that has some caricatures on it. It's a morning practice that you can get up and oil yourself with sesame oil. Put oil all over your body before you take a shower. Maybe in your ears. Scrape your tongue. Get rid of toxins. But take a look at that. And then if you really struggle with anxiety, we can talk about anger in a minute. Anxiety, especially this time of year. In the fall is the anxious time of year. Wind, movement. That's just what I need is more movement. So it keeps me off balance. I don't like the wind. So you see I got a hat. I keep the hat on. I could use it on right now. So what we do is nighttime before I go to sleep. A little sesame oil beside the bed, I'm beside my feet. Sesame oil, the body actually absorbs it. It digests it. It gives us grounding. And then I'll put socks on so Audrey doesn't shoot me. Because the sesame oil will mess up some sheets. So there are little things like that we work with. But mostly what we work with, mindfulness meditation, following the breath. Now, if you scientifically proven, you're going back and forth from the breath to the thoughts. So you're letting the thoughts come. They come. You bring it up right in front, right where you can look at it. Look at the thoughts. Look at them. But don't judge them. Julie Dorsey says it's like a grocery list. Look at it, but don't add to it. And then bring the breath in, and it'll dissolve. And it'll come back. Something that's really bothering us, maybe a health issue, whatever it is. Our children, our grandchildren, worrying about them. When we're going to sleep, the most vulnerable time we have is going to sleep at night. The second most vulnerable time, maybe the first, is waking up in the morning, coming back into consciousness. That's when the thoughts come, oh crap, what's going to happen today? What's going to happen with my children? What's going to happen with me? Am I going to have enough to make it through? What's the economy going to do? So you learn to look at those, look at that thought, bring it in, look at it, and then bring the breath in. That's a repetition. It's just like Bruce Lee's husband Kenny would do a repetition with weights. Bicep gets bigger, thicker, and stronger. Each time you do this, you bring the thought in, bring the breath in. The thought will dissolve. If it doesn't dissolve, use that count. Prefrontal cortex of your brain gets thicker. It gets thicker. That's where you process joy and our ability to reason. So joy automatically gets better. Do it over and over again. Over and over again. It takes practice. It's just like Kenny with the weights. I used to go over to his garage and lift weights. He'd wear me out. Now, if we can get him to do this with the breath, but it takes effort. It's more difficult than we think. Let's sit again for just a few minutes. I'm going to read something to you before we sit again, before Father. And I just came across this. And this is written by a 106-year-old master, a great master, a Japanese master. And I've been trying to figure out how to pronounce his name, and I don't know how to pronounce it. So I'm going to do the best I can. And I'm only going to read a couple of paragraphs out of this thing. His name is Dr. Shioya, S-H-I-O-Y-A. The Fountain of Youth is what he calls it. 106 years old. When he was 100, he was still playing golf and winning senior tournaments. This is about mindfulness. The power of natural healing, which is instilled in every human being from the time of birth, is much stronger than people realize. The power of natural healing. If you were to come up to the space on airline and meet Dr. Sarkar, who teaches a lot on Saturday morning, retired vascular surgeon. Some of you know him from one of the foremost vascular surgeons in the area for years. He'll tell you you can heal anything. It has the power to vanquish any disease that exists. Still, in order to access this natural healing power and to elicit an adequate result, you have to believe in it deeply. Deep within your heart of hearts. Through the power of visualization, a person has the power to create a miracle from within. If you're recovering from an illness, a serious illness, you should not say, "Please heal me," or "I wish I were healed." If you want success at business, it wouldn't happen by saying, "Let there be success," or "Please make me successful." The key lies in the affirmation. It's the way we see it. It's the single-pointed focus. I am healed. I am a success. We draw sufficient oxygen into our bodies through proper breathing. Our resistance to disease increases. The life expectancy of the individual cells is extended. I believe that a person can protect themselves from 90% of the symptoms of senility. Thank you, I'm going to work harder. By the creative power of thinking and proper breathing. This is precisely how one also prevents cancer. Cancer is a symptom generated by disease changes to cells. Disease cells multiply uncontrolled and inhibit the functions of healthy cells. I believe that the causes lie in a chronic deficiency of oxygen. We're increasing our oxygen simply by sitting here and breathing into mindfulness. So they're ringing the bell for us to sit again. So let's sit again. In mindfulness, paying attention to the breath, paying attention to the body on purpose, paying attention to the thoughts. You can even, if you have thoughts that plague you, you can even invite them in. Invite them in and look at them. And bring the breath in. They'll dissolve. They'll come back. I promise.
Especially if it's grief.
The breath, they'll dissolve. Over and over again. And after a while, they're going to lose their power over you. The things we resist persist. We are so accustomed, I can't think that, I can't think about that, I can't think, I can push it out. I push it out of my life. I push it away. Yeah, you push it away, all right. We brought up anger a minute ago. There are no parts of anger that are good. None. Unless it brings us back to the breath. You try to push anger away, it's going to come back. You push it away again, it's going to come back. Over and over again, it'll come back. If you are successful in pushing it away, it's going to come back with a vengeance sometime. Learn to bring it in and look at it. Feel it in your body. What's it do? It's doing something. With me, it does this. I used to fight. It makes me tense. I bring it up, I look at it, I feel it in my body. I feel my body. I feel things in my body you would not believe and I bring the breath back. It's a game. I do it all day long. Somebody asks me, how long do you practice? I practice all day long. I'm practicing with the breath. I'm practicing with mantras. I sit in a formal practice in the morning and the evening. Let's sit again together. If you want to use that breath, 4, 6, and 8, use it. Or if you want to just use breathing into 3 and out to 6. Did we talk about the exhale? Third thing, that if you can get out of today, if you get the realization that I'm stressing, get the realization I'm anxious, I'm restricting my breath, and then breathe. I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out. As simple as that. If you get that, your life's going to change. If you remember that the exhale is the relaxation breath. We've been taught, my mother used to say and my grandmother used to say to me, all right, take a deep breath, take a deep breath. I was full of fear and anger. Take a deep breath. It was wonderful advice. They forgot to tell me how to breathe out. The inhale is a sympathetic nerve activation, fight or flight. The exhale, parasympathetic nerves, rest and digest, relaxation breath. You felt it when you said that you felt more relaxed, you feel it on the exhale. The inhale sets the tone, more aware. The exhale, the holding the breath creates some kind of a chemical balance, and then the exhale, relaxation breath. So let's do it again together. Bach, 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 bach. Marcy's doing good. Bach, bach, hock. Feet on floor, butt on chair, hands on knees. We'll ring the bell 3 times this time to start. And you use what you want. If you want to breathe into 4, hold for 6, and out for 8. Do that for a few breaths. You're simply taming your mind. If you want to use, breathe into 3 and out to 6, do that. And at some point, I'm going to bring your focus back to the nose, where the air comes in. Pay attention to the sounds, the heating unit, the air, maybe your stomach growling. Come back to the breath. Hear the sounds. Note what it is. Back to the breath. No judgment. the last minute or so, bring your attention to the nose, feeling the air as it comes in, cool, and goes out warm, just for a minute or so. Single pointed focus right on the tip of the nose, the best you can. You can no longer hear the sound of this singing bowl. Open your eyes. It's one thing to be able to start to pay attention to the breath. It's another thing to start to feel the breath. Start to feel the breath. Feel it when it comes in cool. We're talking about focusing. Single pointed focus right here, just for 30 seconds or a minute. Is that hard? It is. You get better. You'll get better and better at it. This is something written. I hope if you have any questions, I'd like to try to answer them. Well, read this. What is mindfulness meditation and why do it? This was written by Bhante G, one of my teachers, 89 years old. Now when we do this right here, if we are on a 10-day retreat, we do it right here for the first 3 days, 6 or 8 hours a day. You don't have to do it that long. You can do it for minutes a day. So if you come out of this room, if you don't do anything other than stop a few times during the day, how many hours are you awake during the day? I'm awake 18, 19 hours a day, 20 hours a day. Can I do it once every hour? I can, because I've been doing it so long. Can most people? No. Can you do it 6 times a day? Probably. So I challenge you to try to do it 6 times a day. Stop 6 times a day and breathe for a minute or 2. Or 4, 5, 6 breaths. Something's going to happen. Mindfulness meditation is not easy. It takes time and it takes energy. It also takes grit, determination, and discipline. So why do it? Just because the simple fact that you are human. You find yourself heir to an inherent unsatisfactoriness in parts of life that simply will not go away. there you are with the realization that you're spending most of your life barely getting by. You keep up a good front. And we do worry about a little bit, old age, sickness, and death. But deep down inside, you know you are a mess. Anxiety, worry, a worry about past or the future, depression, stress, or simply an uneasiness which keeps us off of balance. You know there's another way to live, a way to touch life more fully. Mindfulness meditation is called a great teacher. You fell in love. You feel in love toward others. You feel a love toward others because you understand them, and you understand them because you have understood yourself. You have looked deeply inside and seen self-illusion and your own human failings and learned to forgive and to love yourself. When you have learned compassion for yourself, compassion for others is automatic. An accomplished meditator has achieved a profound understanding of life, and he or she inevitably relates to the world with a deep and uncritical love. My biggest difficulty in life has been criticizing, condemning. The purpose of mindfulness meditation is personal transformation. The you that goes in one side and comes out the other is different. Meditation changes your character by making you deeply aware of your thoughts, words, and deeds. Your arrogance evaporates and your antagonism dries up. Thus, meditation properly performed prepares you to meet the ups and downs of existence. It reduces your fear, anxiety, worry, and stress. Things begin to fall into place, and your life becomes a glide instead of a struggle. Mindfulness meditation is a way to go deeper into your own faith. These are up here. If you want any of them, there are some cards up here that talk about the teen retreats and the space on airline, and there's a daily routine that you can do. The book is Dr. Sarkar's book, and that's on sale on the internet, and we may have a few copies of it in space.
Are there any videos that you can buy or that you suggest to help you train yourself at home with it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Are those on that list
has a
as
video.
well?
We're going to get ready to put out another video on ADD, ADHD, anxiety, how to do this practice for those so that it can come out.
Just using that video.
Any other questions?
3 times a day to YouTube, yeah.
No questions? Questions? Any questions? Can you do it? Yes, ma'am.
The program that you're doing on Airline Boulevard with families, is that something that insurance will pay for? Probably not.
You know, I believe it does. I believe insurances are starting to pay for yoga. We do yoga therapy. We do, you may come up, we do chair yoga on Wednesdays at 10:15. Linda Neese, an Ayurvedic practitioner. She does an hour and a half class. It's dynamite. It's not hard to do, but you will definitely know you've been through a routine and a breath. You'll be doing some breath work. Breath work is really a key to all of this. That's Wednesdays at 10:15. I do a class Sunday mornings at 8. It's a neat little class. I sub for Dr. Sarkar. I do 6 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I do Tuesdays at 12, unless I was here. And I didn't realize I wasn't going to be there, so I had to get somebody to sub for me. Anyway, any other questions?